Okay, so this is question 3 of the week 3 handout, and it says a cube has a side length of 8 centimeters. A rectangular prism is then formed by doubling the length of that cube, halving the width, and then tripling the height. So the volume of the new rectangular prism is how many times that of the original cube? Okay, let's break this down and try to visualize this. So the volume of a rectangular prism, any rectangular prism, is just going to be your length times your width times your height. So for example, our original one, our cube, because remember, cubes are types of rectangular prisms. They're just really specific types. So for this cube, we have our length here, we have our width, and then we have our height. And they're all the same, and they're all 8, except we actually don't need what the length is in order to solve this problem. And let me show you why. Because we have our length, our width, and our height, right? And now we're changing the dimensions of this cube for the new prism. But regardless, our old volume is just going to be length times width times height. So now let's represent the dimensions of the new prism in terms of the side lengths of the old prism. So our new prism, what does it say? Well, the length is 2 times the old length. So this length right here, that's going to be 2L. The width is half of the old width. So this width right here is going to be 1/2 W. And then the height, wow, okay, that's being tripled. So this is going to be super long, and so this is 3 times the original height. And so this right here, that's our new rectangular prism. And it's asking us, well, the volume of this prism is how many times that of the original prism, the original cube. So what's the volume of this? Again, we're just multiplying all 3 dimensions together, the length times width and the height. But remember, these dimensions are in terms of the old dimensions, how many times we scaled those specific old dimensions up by. So the volume of this rectangular prism is going to be times the length, which in this case is 2L, times the width, which is 1/2 W, times the height, which is 3H. And you can also rearrange this just by pulling all of the scalars out of this equation, all of the numbers we're multiplying by. This is equal to 2 times 1/2 times 3. We're just pulling them out and just rearranging the numbers a little bit in multiplication, because you can do that, times length times width times height. So if you notice, 2 times 1/2 times 3 is just equal to 3. And so it's this final product is just 3 times length times width times height. And remember, length times width times height, that was the original volume. So another way you can say this is that this volume of the new prism, V2, well, that's just 3 times the volume of the old prism. This is just 3 times V1. And that's exactly what the question is asking. The question is asking the volume of the new prism is how many times that of the original. And it tells us right here, LWH, that's the one of the original. So the new one is 3 times the volume of the original.